from me to say otherwise. You folks are good to go.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we're going to start the August meeting of the Arts Advisory Committee for the City of Barrie. So thanks all for coming. It's time of year people tend to want to be outside, so I appreciate you all taking the time for joining us today. So thanks for coming. We're going to move right into the agenda. I know, Amanda, you just hopped on, but you're ready to go into Culture Days? Yeah, ready to help? Okay, good. It's all yours.
Fantastic. So we have just posted to our website yesterday afternoon. We have 3 different ways that folks can participate in Culture Days this year, folks from the industry, from the sector. So we have our traditional call for proposals for organizations or artists that want to host an activity, be it virtually, be it in person. And then we also have calls for entertainers who can perform on the Meridian Place stage on September 24th. We're doing Culture Day at Meridian on September 24th, sort of as a kickoff to the 3 weeks of programming. And as part of the Culture Day at Meridian, we also have a call for not-for-profit arts organizations to have a booth space. So they do need to provide their own tent, table, and chairs, but there's no cost to the not-for-profit arts organizations to have a presence on site, to connect with the community, share promotions, sell tickets, offer an activity if they want. For those that are familiar with Celebrate Barrie, we kind of envision it being a arts and culture focused mini Celebrate Barrie in Meridian Place on September 24th. So we're really excited to get back to in-person. Culture Days was always a 3-day event that included all in-person programming. This will be our first time going back to in-person programming since the before times. We're really excited to do something fun in Meridian Place though, and that'll actually be the last weekly scheduled date of Open Air Dunlop as well. So we expect to have lots of people out. And yeah, if you want to share the information with anybody, it's barrie.ca/Culture Days, where you can find all of the information for how to participate. And we'll probably have a whole lot of other interesting things come down the pipeline as we start to hear from our various partners about what their programming is for the 3 weeks as well.
All right, excellent. Thanks, Amanda. Anything the committee can help you with at all, or anything you need? Or
we will be hosting another culture night out as part of Culture Days. We haven't decided on the date or the location yet. That's in the works, but I think it would be lovely to have the committee's presence at that event in the fall. Just introducing yourselves. If you felt it might be worth doing a quick little chat with the group, you could do that. But as for right now, I think it's all coming together. What I can do is I'll put a little email blurb together to share with Brandy. She can share with the committee, and then if you wanted to share it out with your networks that way, you can. But that would be the best way, is just spreading the word, participating in the Culture Days activities as they come together, coming out and seeing us on Culture Day on September 24th. And yeah, stay tuned for more on the Culture Night Out. That information I'll get to Brandy as soon as we have that determined as well.
great, awesome. So any questions for Amanda on that issue at all? Or any comments in general on it? Any groups that you're hoping to participate? Are your own groups going, or do you need to tell us about it? Or?
I'm really hoping to see lots of the old guard come back around. One of my most favorite parts of Culture Days used to be riding along, singing a song. The Barrie Folk Society would put folk performers on the buses and in the bus terminal. So I think that brought a lot of joy to people riding transit on that day. I'd love to see that return. Another one that used to be really cool that we haven't been able to make happen again is Conduct Us. The Huronia Symphony Orchestra used to get into Georgian Mall, and people could actually come up and try their hand at conducting. It's been hard to find a location, a venue that can house the whole orchestra. So I know it's been done in smaller ways at the library or at other locations. Hopefully HSO might want to participate again this year. I believe Theatre by the Bay might be coming back with their regularly scheduled programming, the 24-hour playwriting contest, which is very exciting. And we also have a really fun Be the Public Art program that's being hosted by PT Art Collab, a couple of seasoned professional artists in our community who are doing a really neat interactive public art activity for the last 2 weeks of Culture Days that'll be taking place down on the waterfront. So keep an eye out for that programming. That should be a lot of fun too.
Amazing, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, so unless there's any further questions or comments for Amanda, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda. So Arts Advisory Committee's events, information and updates. So just, does anybody have any specific updates, any information they'd like to bring to committee's attention or like us to help with or promote? Any individual plans for your organizations at all? Or? If not, then I will. I'll start with something that I've been working on. We have Play the Parks coming up in Barrie, which is a collaboration between the Music Council, Coalition Music, Canada's Music Incubator, and the City of Barrie. What we're doing is bringing more musical opportunities to Barrie's parks. So we've got 5 dates scheduled with performers coming in both the Heritage Park and Centennial Park. So it's mostly Sundays, August 21st, 28th, September 4th, and September 11th. And then we have a Wednesday evening show as well, which will be in Centennial Park on the 31st of August. So it's just kind of casual, have a kind of a pop-up sort of feel to it. But we're hoping we've got the information up on Music Council website, Facebook page. TD is the sponsor and they're pushing it pretty hard. So hopefully we'll have a pretty good turnout for those events. If you guys have a chance to share it all or attend, by all means reach out if you need more information or check out our Facebook page. So then the one other thing that we're working on, we have a music summit that we're putting together for November. I was hoping to get it done in September, however, got a little bit busy and I'm gone for most of October. So we're going to do it at the end of November. It's going to feature a day of networking and mentorship kind of activities for up and coming musicians and culture creators. And we have a couple other live events and showcases we're working on for that week as well. So that's what we have going on that I wanted to bring up. Not sure what everybody else has anything they would like to bring up.
Yeah, for sure. So
Scott, please.
Go ahead, Ian.
Okay, I was just going to say, Theater by the Bay has a couple things going on right now. We have our comedy, A Scandal for All Seasons, that's running this week. Very crazy farce about municipal politics in Barrie. It's gotten some good reviews, great audience feedback as well. Lots of inside jokes and Barrieisms throughout, but also very different from other stuff that we've done, which is always good. We're also going to be starting our local version of the Indie Producer Co-op. So this is our celebrated educational program that we've been running for young producers. But this is the first time we've ever done it for local artists. So I'm really excited about that. We have our fundraiser based on the Amazing Race TV show coming up in early September. And then Mary of Shanty Bay, which is the show about Mary O'Brien and the founding of the Shanty Bay community, running in the second half of September at St. Thomas Anglican Church. Tickets are selling like crazy, which is great. So if you're interested at all, come check it out.
And I'll go way in advance and maybe offend a few people, but December 9th and 10th is Bravado Show Choir's Christmas concert because it's 26 degrees out. So anyway, we start our practices on September 12th, and we'll be at Collier Street Church for that. And just a shout out to my favorite charity, the Women and Children Shelter of Barrie. Saturday, September 10th is the annual Walk a Mile in Her Shoes event where gentlemen, and we're even including ladies, can come down to the waterfront and you actually get high-heeled shoes and you walk around for a mile and dress up in costumes and do whatever you do. And it's one of the great fundraisers for the Women and Children Shelter Barrie. So Saturday, September the 10th, if you're interested. And we train people how to walk in the shoes, lean forward, stick your butt out. So I was on the organizing committee for a long time in years 2 through 6. And it's just a really, really fun event. And it raises some great money for the Women and Children Shelter Barrie. So mark that down on your calendars. It's at Heritage Park.
All right, excellent. Thanks, Scott. Anybody else with your own organizations or?
I'll just jump in with another
please.
little bit of news. This Saturday, weather permitting, the Emerging Artist Showcase is taking place in Meridian Place. So if you're familiar with our Emerging Artist program, the City of Barrie sponsors it. It is organized by the Canadian Musicians Co-op. That program sees dozens of youth work all summer on their music careers. So they actually get paid through Canada Summer Jobs funding and get to work learning all about the music industry, from how to get yourself booked to understanding a soundboard to producing shows. So this show on Saturday is truly a showcase. It's completely produced, organized, coordinated, marketed, and performed by youth that have participated in this program. It is an amazing evening of entertainment. It's absolutely free. They have an opening act at 6:30. The main show starts at 7. If you have a chance to check it out in downtown Barrie, it's definitely worth a visit down there on Saturday evening. And I believe the rain date's next weekend if we do get the weather work that it's currently calling for.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Question for you about events, Amanda. Maybe I missed something, but is there any progress in the Arts Awards at all? Or?
Yeah, actually, thank you. That's a really good opportunity for me to update on that as well. We have settled on a date. It hasn't been made public yet. We're still working on firming up some of our details for the run of show, but it's Wednesday, November 16th, and it's going to be at the McLaren. So we're very excited for that. And yeah, stay tuned for more information on that. Nominations are live, and we would absolutely love to see some nominations come in. I believe we've got another month before they close. So we'll be doing a big push next week with some fun campaigns to entice nominees, and we'll be keeping out for your emails with more on that. But I believe I already shared around with Brandy the initial call for nominations. So I encourage you to consider who you might want to nominate. We did add the Resilience in the Arts Award that is looking at an artist or an organization who has risen above the challenges and is doing amazing things. We also have the Artists Beyond Barriers Award, sponsored by the Accessibility Advisory Committee, for artists who live with disabilities who are making incredible art or doing incredible work in the community. We have a Business Champion Award, which is great if you've got some sponsors that need some love. It's a great way to show your love for them is to nominate them for the Business Champion. And then our regular slate as well, Excellence in the Arts, Contribution to the Community, Emerging Artist, and Most Promising Youth. So there really is something for everybody across those awards categories. We are celebrating the last couple of years. So, it's not, that doesn't have to be something that was done in the last year. It can be over the last several years. And then obviously in some of those categories, it really is about a career of work in the arts. So check out barrie.ca/arts awards for all of the details on that.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you. Any questions for Amanda on the Arts Awards at all before we can move on? Any other comments, information, or events that anybody would like to share with us? Okay. Performing Arts Center update that we have next on the agenda. We don't really have our standard updaters here for that. Amanda, do you have anything for that? I hate to throw it back to you again, but hey.
Unfortunately, I have not been left with anything for that. I'm not sure where we are in that, but I will flag Steph to that. And then if she can send something around or have somebody from Dawn's group send something around to the group, we'll have her do that. Okay.
Okay, great. I'm sure it'll be
I
more.
can mark that one as deferred to the next meeting if the committee agrees with that.
Yeah, I think that's good. All right, so we don't really have a lot on the agenda for today other than that. So I did want to give everybody an opportunity to kind of raise any thoughts or issues that you just think that we should maybe discuss or look forward to in the future. So if anybody has comments, questions, any ideas for what we should be working on or doing moving forward, then this would be a great time to bring them forward. Scott?
I got an interesting one. It's probably just a recommendation probably for the city of Barrie. So I love Barrie. I've been here a long time. there's something happening every weekend and a lot of times during the summer on weekdays all over Barrie. But they don't seem to be advertised as much as they potentially could. I'll give you an example. I think it was last Wednesday, I was on my bicycle and I'm driving around on my bicycle down by the lakeshore, and all of a sudden in the middle of Meridian Place, there's a probably 50-piece army band that is playing there. They had a few guys do some jazz, and then they had the full orchestra doing some stuff, but I had no idea about any of that stuff. I know Barrie's got a new app that has just come up. I think on one of the previous meetings, somebody suggested that potentially there should be somewhere that you can basically click and say, this is what's happening in Barrie today or next week. And so to draw people into Barrie, to draw people into the arts and culture world that we're in, is if somehow there could be a one stop where somebody could say, what's on in Barrie today? Oh, okay, well, today is that army band. Oh, if I want to go see, I don't know, the so-and-so, it's on Thursday. Oh, and by the way, on August the 20th, it's going to be the emerging arts programs. On August 21st, it's going to be, Greg's organization. That'd give folks the opportunity to say, okay, well, I think I'm coming to Barrie. What week should I come? And I think a day trip to Barrie is, I'm going to come up on August 20th because there's an emerging artist program. I know there's Facebook pages that each of our organizations have, and Barrie's got a Facebook page, but now it seems like it's being condensed into the Barrie, City of Barrie app, and that'd be an ideal opportunity to get all that stuff together. Now, it's probably not this committee that would do that. It might be a whole nother committee that would organize something like that, because it's probably very complicated to get it up and running. And the hardest part would probably be to keep it updated, because keeping things updated is hard work, daily work, even if it's your own individual website or something. But yeah, that could be something that could showcase the arts and culture within Barrie on a rolling every day, every week, every month basis.
Jerry, I saw your hand.
Yeah, I was going to ask another question, but
Yeah.
I wanted to respond to Scott. You're identifying one of the biggest challenges that businesses have every day, and that's how do you market? It's an area that is very familiar for me. We have more vehicles for communicating than we've ever had before, and yet we have less communication than we've ever had before. It's a challenge. It really is. I think that might be a good item to talk about for this committee. Some advice on how to market and how to promote and how to make more visible all the things that are going on. Because I agree with you. You all of a sudden you come across something and you say, gee, I wish I had known about this. But where do you go? Where do you find it? Everybody jumped on the web because they thought it was a free way to get advertising. But actually, we had better coverage when we had one radio station and one TV station in the city. And so that, I think it's a challenge that we should talk about at some point, and maybe give some guidance to. I
can sort of weigh in a little bit. So again, in the before times, our special events team put out a print calendar that included all of the major recurring annual events. It included some of the theater information. That really was our key kind of touchstone. The events team as well, who do all of the park bookings, they encourage as part of their checklist for special event permitting that folks go on barrie.ca and list their events. So that Barrie app actually has the event calendar in it. And it's up to the organizations, though, to go in and list their own stuff in there. I mean, I think Jerry really kind of hit the nail on the head there. We could chase after everybody for their information, but then it would be just a constant updating situation. So it is something that's come up over and over again. I will flag it with our team because we are doing some marketing work internally. And I think it's worth circling back with the full culture team, so the special events and theaters side, to see if we might have some sort of way of getting back to, even if it's just a landing page on barrie.ca that has all of the key organizations and key dates or weekends for certain ongoing annual events. Again, I think I didn't even know about the military band performance, so I'm not sure how that happened or who scheduled that or how it went by without being promoted. But we try our best to get everything in our calendars and encourage everybody to use the barrie.ca calendar. We're also guilty of not always using it. So it's one of those things, do the event or plan the event or market the event. Sometimes you kind of have to do the marketing last. Thank you for that, Scott. It's definitely, it's been coming up since I started city. So obviously we haven't found a solution yet.
And that's an interesting point that they have to book it, because this was at Meridian Place, and obviously Meridian Place has to be booked. So I don't know if there's even just an automatic thing that as soon as they book it, it's the city of Barrie puts a one line saying it's going to be the so-and-so military band is going to be at Meridian Place on such and such a
right.
day. And then that could drive people that if they're interested, they might go to their webpage, but at least it says that, something's happening.
Yeah. Well, yeah, as part of their checklist, they do have a requirement to list their event on barrie.ca. So, but also Meridian Place is a special beast in that it's a partnered space with the BIA. Oh, okay. And if they had somebody say to them the day before, hey, we want to come down and perform, then, they're allowed to use that space as needed. So that might have been where that one came through.
I think I really stood out because I was in my complete red Lycra biking gear and everybody else was in their normal clothes. They're very good. They're very good.
I think a big electronic billboard on 400 that was updated daily would really do the trick, but that's a big ticket item. I was curious, Amanda, we're getting back to ramping things up after COVID. Any, from your perspective, any challenges that the city is facing, in regards to cultural things, ramping it back up and getting it back to some semblance of normal?
We're just about ready to do our sort of 6-month in reporting for any of our grant recipients that are new to the program or who are returning after not being a part of the program for several years. I think it'll be really interesting to see what they have to say about whether they've been able to deliver on their programming that they have proposed for their funding. It's great to hear that Music Co is still moving ahead with the Music Summit. That was one of the things that was funded as part of or partially funded as part of our program. For us, especially through the summer, we don't do a ton of programming. And like I said, Culture Days will be our first sort of back to in-person traditional programming as far as events go. We're just in the early stages of the Arts Awards planning. So I guess we'll find out how things have changed in the climate as far as how many people want to attend in person, or if there will still be an expectation of a virtual option. Again, as we get into looking to our 2023 budget, it'll be interesting as well to see where everything falls as far as funding levels. We are also going into a new council. So I think for us, as much as we'd like to see everything kind of get back to the norm, there are still lots of things in the works that are changing or that are still up in the air. I know that I've even been advised of having a backup plan for the Arts Awards in case it has to go virtual, which is the last thing I want to do. So again, I think we'll see more in the fall once we get more of these things firmed up and we actually see what the uptake is on some of our in-person programs.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to take a step back for 1 second to the marketing thing, just to make a comment. That's one of the issues where all the organizations that are part of this committee and that are not part of this committee, the arts organizations in general, can really do a better job helping each other out with. For example, the Music Council website, we have a calendar, which will tell you exactly what's going on, music events, music related events, anything that's kind of musical we can put on it. It'll tell you a little pin on the map. It's connected to Google Maps. It'll show you exactly where it is. The challenge is just finding the events, even for people like myself and some of you. He said we don't even know what's going on in our own arts community. So if we can do a better job of kind of sharing it with each other, I'm happy to put extra things out on Facebook and from different arts organizations, from partners, from friends of the arts in general, just to make sure that we all know. And it's one thing we can really help each other out a lot with in general. So it's kind of all I wanted to add to that. So any other comments, suggestions, ideas that anybody wanted to bring forward?
Yeah, I guess something I wanted to kind of come back to is at one point we had talked about perhaps doing a presentation to council just about who we are, what we do, and how we might be able to assist the next council, which I think might help with some of these concerns that Amanda flagged, for instance. I really think that that's an important step to just make sure that we put ourselves out there and that we make sure that the next council is very aware of the presence and significance of the arts in the community. For instance, I was looking at some of the mayoral candidates' web pages, and currently none of them have arts and culture listed on their websites at all in terms of something that they're thinking about. So I think we just have to make sure that that we give them a nudge and make sure that they're aware of the fact that there's a lot of people invested in making art in this community and supporting art in this community, and that we need to be in their minds.
Okay, I think that a presentation to council would be a great idea. My first reaction is, well, maybe we should wait till there's a new council, but I think it'd probably be, I don't know how long it takes to actually get on the agenda for something like that, but it might be a good idea to if we can, before the new council comes up, be able to get something. And if we can't actually get a presentation, then we should probably be doing a little bit of, for lack of a better term, I know some of you don't like it, but lobbying to the councillors that are out there, to the candidates as a group, just to make sure that we can't do it as a group lobbying, but just to make sure that the community's out there. But the presentation to council will probably be a great idea as soon as we can get in. So, any other comments or questions, Randy?
So what I'll do is I'll speak with Wendy to see what if that's a possibility, or if it would be something that would have to wait for the new council.
Great, perfect, thank you. And if you could, when you get that information, I'm sure you will anyway, but just fire it out to us, because if we wait till the next meeting, then we're really pushing the limits of what we can actually get organized and get together. So as soon as you kind of know the answer to that, it would be something we'd have to jump on pretty quickly.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, thanks for that, Ian. That's important. I appreciate that. Other ideas, thoughts, questions?
Just a question is there any update to the repairs that are taking place at Georgian College? Because I know they were going to be scheduling July, August.
We don't have anybody on the call that can answer that, unfortunately.
Yeah. My impression is that there's actually a lot of progress being made on a few different fronts that way. So, but I think we need to wait till next time before we get a more formal update.
So we put that on the agenda for next time, maybe, Brandy? Perfect.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Anything else? Or are we ready to adjourn? Okay. If there's nothing else, then we will adjourn the meeting. There's no objections to that. But again, thank you all for coming. Short, but some good ideas and productive meetings. So I appreciate that. Thanks again for coming to all of you.
Bye, everybody. Have a good one. We'll see you soon, hopefully.
Thank you, everybody.
10 seconds.
Have a great day.